Hey, movers and shakers, welcome to another exciting episode of the Seven Figure Moving Academy. Boy, did I get windy and repetitive in this video. Woo! TLDR. All right, guys, but we're going to be talking about how much to charge for long distance move. It's really not very difficult, but I give you some good information on how to do that. And you know what? I'm going to give it to you completely free. Actually, I take that back. I'm going to charge you something for this information. It's a real simple charge. It's actually very, very full. All I need you to do to pay me for this video is give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed. But in the meantime, let's get into the video. Hey, all right, let's get into it, guys. We're going to be talking about how much to charge for your long distance moves. Now, I did a video long ago, way back when I first started this channel, I think like 2016, 2017, whatever. And you could go check out that video. But today is a new day. We're in a whole different economic environment. We're in a whole new environment completely. And you guys are far more sophisticated and far more intelligent than you were way back then. Back then, it was the dirty, dirty old West, if you will. Today, we're in a new age. We've got people that know all things. There's people doing all sorts of education on this. So let's get into it and how much you should charge for long distance moves. First of all, let's define a long distance move. In my state, a long distance move legally is anything over 40 miles. Right? 40 miles and more is considered a long distance move. Some states are 50 miles. Now, the van liners, they don't consider anything a long distance move unless it's 100 miles or more. So, how much should we charge for that? Right? Well, there's a figure. Back in the day, when I was doing moves, when I still had my moving business, I would charge around 75 cents per pound. And that's for unpacking. If there was packing, I would charge around $1 to $1.25 per pound. That's with packing, right? So that's how much I was charging. In today's market, I would really suggest that you charge $1 per pound for a long distance move, up to $1.50 per pound with packing. You could actually go up to 2 pounds, but that's going to be pushing it. Now, when I say long distance move, I'm defining these things, anything over 100 miles. Right? That's what I'm doing with that. Anything, if it's a long distance move, but it's less than 100 miles, then what I'm probably going to charge, I'm going to charge between 35 cents to 50 cents per pound. All right? That's without packing. With packing, I'm going to charge about 50 cents to about 75 cents per pound with packing. And that, when I say, why am I saying with packing? Well, because with packing, you've got the extra expense of boxes and labor, etc., and so on and so forth. So you really want to get into these higher rates when you're doing this, right? So, you want to start out, if without packing, you want to start off about 50 cents if it's less than 100 pounds, right? Or 100 miles. If it's less than 100 miles, you want to go from 35 to 50 cents per pound, right? Now, how do you figure out per pounds? Easy peasy lemon squeezy, my friends. There's this thing called a cube sheet. If you don't know what a cube sheet is, then you need to get familiar with a cube sheet. It's basically a list of all the items that a house may have, and it gives you a cubic foot approximation of of each of the items. So if you got a 3-seater couch, it's going to give you how much cubic feet that's going to use up. If you've got a refrigerator, it gives you a cubic area that the refrigerator is going to use up. All the way down to a box, all the way up to your biggest items. Now, there are going to be some items that on a cube sheet that you can't find, but that's okay. You can basically do measurements of that item as if it was in a box and go bloop, bloop, bloop. You know, your 3 dimensions, and you could get your cubic area for that item. Right? So if it's a canoe, for instance, and it's not there, you just measure length, measure its height, measure its width, times them all together. That gives you your cubic area. All right? So basically, cubic area is length times width times height. Very easy peasy. For square feet, you just got length times width. That's your square feet. For cubic area, you go length times width times height. That gives you your cube. So when you're doing a cube sheet, you're going to take that cube sheet list and you're going to mark down all the items. So if you got 50 small boxes, you're going to have that. If you got 2 refrigerators, you're going to put down 2 refrigerators. Once you add up all those columns in the cube sheet, you're going to times it about 7 times. So you get your cubes. Hypothetically, you say you get 1,000 cubes, right? You're going to times that by 7, right? Which would give you 7,000 pounds. Now that's estimated, and that's if it's 1,000 cubic feet, right? Would give you about 7,000 pounds. You know you're going to need a 26-foot moving truck with 7,000 pounds. You know you're probably going to need 3 or 4 people to do that job. So you will then take your pounds, and then you're going to go, okay, good. So if it's a long distance move, you're going to take your 7 times a buck, and you're going to go $7,000 to do that long distance move. So your long distance move is pounds times weight, right? And I'm putting a W as weight, will give you your long distance charge, right? Easy peasy, a lemon squeezy, as I said a few minutes ago, so it's getting old already. But there you go, guys. It's pounds times your weight. Actually, did I say that wrong? Wait, I should say weight charge. There you go. So WC, it's not water closet, it's weight charge. So whatever your weight charge is, whether it's 35 cents or 50 cents or $1 or $1.50, your weight charge times the actual poundage, and that gives you your long distance charge. So in our example, we got 7,000 pounds times $1, because it's going, we're going to say it's going to go over 100 miles. That gives us $7,000, right? That's how much you figure out your long distance charge, right? So that's how you figure out how much to charge for a long distance move. Now, my recommendation, folks, is if you're just, you don't have semis, right? You don't have semis that's going to do multiple people on it, and you got just one, like you're just taking a truck, maybe even 2 trucks. But I would not recommend you go over 600 miles. And what I say that because it then becomes financially imprudent not to do it. It actually becomes more prohibitive. For instance, if I'm in Michigan, which I am, if I'm in Michigan, I don't really want to do a move to California. I don't actually want to do a move to Denver, Colorado, because it's over 600 miles. I want to stay within that 600 miles because then it makes it a more affordable. So 600 miles is a 2-day trip. It's 1 day there, 1 day back, basically, right? So my truck is only gone for 2 days. You see what I'm saying? Now, in those 2 days, if I'm doing my marketing correct, I could do the same. I can make $7,000 if it's 1,000 pounds. I could do a $7,000 job in 2 days locally, right? I can actually be making more money locally the longer this goes out. So if this is a 3-day trip, I can make more money doing local jobs than what it is a long distance job. So it becomes financially unintelligent, becomes financially stupid to do anything more than 600 miles unless you're a van liner that can place more than one trips, or you've got a moving coming back. Okay, so if you got something that's coming back, then you can go longer distance. So if you got a 26-foot truck and you're going to go to Denver, Colorado, hypothetically, you drop it off, you make your $7,000, and on the way back, you've got another job you're going to pick up, hypothetically. You'll pick up in Lexington, Nebraska, or Omaha or something, and you bring it back for another, $3,500 or whatever it is. Then you can go for longer distance. Then it makes it okay to go to places like Denver or Los Angeles or something like that. But if you're going to be deadheading back, I would not do anything more than 600 miles. So there's your trick, guys. If you're going to do a long distance trip, this is how you figure out how much money you're going to make. And it just becomes financially idiotic to do anything more than 600 miles if you're going to be deadheading back. All right, just a word of caution there. That's how you stay profitable doing long distance moves. You don't want to go more than 600 miles. Now obviously you can go 650 or something. This is just a loose rule that you should follow. You really don't want to be going more than a day out and a day back kind of thing, unless you have jobs coming back. Now, where can you find some jobs coming back? There are boards that you could hook up. You could hook up with Sage Robinson. You could do uship.com is a place where you can sign up for and see if you can get some back, even if it's just a few dollars. The only problem with that is you might have to go. You're not going to go on a direct route, hypothetically. So you might be going a direct route from Michigan, in my example, to Denver, Colorado. Well, you might have to go off of that route a little bit, and maybe you have to go south a little bit and pick something up in St. Louis, Missouri, right? And if it's enough financially for you to have that extra distance and provide for the extra cost, it makes it worthwhile, then yes, that makes sense to go do, right? If you're going from like Denver and then you got another trip down in Texas, down in San Antonio, you've got to make sure that you're charging the correct amount of money to make it financially feasible for you to do so. So keep that in mind too. So you want to keep it as much on your direct route there and back as you can to make the finances actually work. Unless you want to be doing the U-ship where you're going all over the country, and that's fine, you could do that. But still, if you're going from your headquarters to a place, then coming back, you only want, if it's 600 miles, you really don't want to do it more if you're going to deadhead. However, if you could find another job, by all means, go and do that. Right? So that's how you figure it. It's just you figure out your pounds. Just to recap, times your weight charge, how much you charge by weight, becomes your long distance charge. Okay? Very, very simple. Now, something on the cube sheets, when we're talking about cube sheets, just to retract a little bit, you don't have to use the figure of 7. That is just what's commonly used. You could use the figure of 6, or you can use the figure of 8. It's really up to you what you want to do and how you want to charge them. But I would really keep it 6 to 8 on your multiple when you're doing a multiple, right? One way you can figure that out is after you've done a few moves, long distance, you can actually figure out how much it is, and then where you could have done a little bit different on the multiple, right? So if you figure your estimated weight, it was 1,000 pounds, right? And your weight actually came in a little bit more because you took up a little bit more room in the truck, etc. Then you can increase it to 8. Or if you're finding that your estimation is off a little bit, and you're on the high side, you could change your multiple to 6. But I really would do 6, 7, or 8, and I would not stray from those 3 different multiples, right? So you just take your cubic estimate times 7. Hypothetically, that gives your estimated weight. Once you have your estimated weight, take your weight times your weight charge, how much you charge per pound, and there you go. That's how much you charge for a long distance move. All right, guys, hopefully I've given you some good information on how much to charge for a long distance move. Hope to hear from you guys soon. You know it. I like you. I love you. Go and do something great.